great to begin. Thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our annual elective night. I would like to say on behalf of all of the elective teachers on the third floor, we are so happy that you have attended our webinar tonight. We're excited to share what we do on the third floor. My name is Alyssa Latrania. I'm one of the general music teachers on the third floor with Mr. Brian Cabot. I'd first like to start off by congratulating our program. The entire school of Lincoln did win the Blue Ribbon Award, but specifically our elective program was mentioned with just how diverse all of our classes are and how many options we offer for all of our students. So I just wanted to ensure we are all aware of just how great our programs are in District 64 and all the options we offer our students. Before we get into individual programs we have this evening, I would like you to, if you have any questions, families, to use the Q&A section of our webinar. That way we can really answer you specifically and as quickly as we can. And that way we can also share with the entire group if need be. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with our art program.
Hi, everyone. My name's Lee Dinas. I'm one of the art teachers here at Lincoln. I teach 7th grade art, which is a required art class. All 7th graders, for the most part, take one trimester of Art 7 throughout the year, first, second, or third try. I also teach 8th grade sculpture and ceramics, painting and drawing, and photography electives. Those are strictly elective courses that you can rank coming up. They're all great opportunities. Like I mentioned, trimester-long classes, 12 weeks. And 7th grade, again, is kind of covers a lot of different studio art type things. 8th grade electives dives into specific mediums, and they're all really great experiences. There's lots of information on these courses. If you look on some of the information that Mr. Swed has sent out, you can find more about any classes, but feel free to reach out to me or any of us on any of these courses to get more information about specific projects or anything like that. Thanks for coming tonight.
Hi, I'm Janice Starkey. I also teach art. I teach 6th grade art, so it's kind of our beginner course, get students all prepped for 7th grade and for the 8th grade electives. I also teach art materials and printmaking as 7th grade elective and an 8th grade elective, and I also teach photography as well, along with Lee. I'll hand it off to music.
All right, so general music at Lincoln. All students typically take 6th grade music. It is a required class their first year, and that really just dips their toe into the world of music. We go over melody, harmony, play a few instruments, and then when they get into 7th grade, we focus on an instrument of choice. And so there are 3 options. 7th graders need to take 1 music class in 7th grade, and they have 3 different options. They have electronic keyboarding, which is piano, guitar, and vocal power, which is singing. All 3 of these focus on music literacy and reading music. We do that in 6th grade music, but now this is focusing on a specific instrument rather than just music as a whole. So that's what's really great about this. We have an entire room dedicated to electronic keyboarding in 7th grade. That's primarily taught by Mr. Brian Cabot. And we have guitar class, and which is again focusing on building guitar skills. They get to play every single day. And vocal power, which is focusing on singing and learning about vocal wellness. Students do not need to have any prior knowledge on any of these instruments to join these classes. I have students who have never played the piano, take electronic keyboarding, or never played guitar, or have never thought they could sing. They just sing in the shower, and they can take any of these classes, or if they're currently taking any lessons or in any ensemble at Lincoln, like any band, orchestra, or choir, they're more than welcome. And again, one of these 3 classes is required, and they are 12 weeks long. So they are all 12 weeks. And again, any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A. We'd be able to really answer them as detailed as possible in there. So those are the 3 required classes. They take one of those. And then in 8th grade, They can take any of the seventh grade electives, but then they have two additional ones, which are music theater workshop and digital music lab. Music theater workshop is where students get to work to collaboratively. That was a big word for me this evening. To create a musical on stage. They get to perform. Students get to work backstage, on stage, and all of that sort in school, which is nice. And they do put on a performance. And digital music lab is an online composing workshop where students spend 12 weeks composing. And those are our general music electives. Again, all of those are 12 weeks long. Seventh grade, they have one of 3 are required. In eighth grade, it's not required, but highly encouraged if they're enjoying music. And I will pass it off to industrial tech.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Quint. I am one of the industrial tech teachers here. Currently, I teach the INTE 7-8 course along with the plastics course. Here on this page, you can see a lot of our projects that we do. Both the INTE set, the 6 and the 7-8, those both have technical drawing or drafting to start with, and then we end up in the Woods lab where they learn how to use hand tools. And then in eighth grade, I teach the plastics class in which they learn how to use power tools. And I'm going to send it off to Mr. McDunn to talk about the courses he teaches.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. I am teaching the INTE 6 class, which starts with some basic measurements. And as Mr. Quint pointed out, it then proceeds to doing some basic drafting. The students then will make a project out of wood, which is a pen set, which they have a variety of choices that they can do, but it's basically that. And then they also have an opportunity to make a keychain as well. In the woods classes, students have a variety of different things that they can make. I have a student who is just completing a bookshelf that looks like this. Another very popular one is a napkin holder that looks like this. And again, these students are making these things from scratch out of wood. And then, of course, you can't very well have a woods class without teaching students how to make a birdhouse. So I'll let Mr. Quint talk about his plastics class.
Here's a couple of projects in plastics. It's a little pen set. We make things like this. It's a little tray or key tray. This is a tablet holder or cell phone holder. And then kids can make some fun things like a Batman logo if they wanted, or like the Michael Jordan logo you guys see on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and then pass it off to who's next? Family and Consumer Science. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, I'm Gina Schmidt. I'm one of the 2 FACS teachers. FACS stands for Family and Consumer Science. We offer 4 electives for 7th and 8th grade. You can take them in both 7th or 8th grade, but you could only take each of them once. So if you take sewing in 7th grade, you can't take it again in 8th grade, but you can take all 4 of the classes during 7th or 8th grade. Sewing, our first class, sewing, it's 12 weeks of sewing. Within the sewing class, it's mostly on the machine. In 6th grade, it's mostly hand sewing, but 7th and 8th grade, there's mostly on the machine. They get to choose their own project. Then, depending on what trimester they're working on, they'll make a seasonal project. There'll be an article of clothing, like a pajama shorts, pajama pants, or slippers. They'll do an upcycle project, which is making something new out of something old. They'll learn to sew on a button, and then they will incorporate some of the hand sewing. Another class we have is Fun with FACS, and it's a bit of both, somewhat in the foods room, 6 weeks in the foods room, and 6 weeks in the sewing room. In the sewing room, we focus on interior design. And the students will redesign their room. They will shop on a budget, shop for the room on the budget, and they'll make 2 accessories for the room. Most of them will be on the sewing machine. And then when we're in the foods room, it'll be food science. And that's where they learn the hows, whys, and the what ifs from the foods that we make. So they become better chefs. So we have different units. We look at food at a different way. We look at a concept, like how do we thicken foods, and then we make recipes to go along with that. We look at the gluten. What is gluten? we make soft pretzels. For the thickening unit, we make pudding and macaroni and cheese. And for the candy chemistry, we work with chocolate. So we're just coming at foods preparation from a different angle. And now I'll pass it off to Carrie Ben, the other facts teacher.
Thank you. My hair?
Yes.
Why is my
You're all good.
screen not working? Oh,
All good.
I'm like, Are you switching to me?
Yes, Carrie, it's to you.
Where am I though?
Harry, if you change in the upper right, there's a button that says view. You can change it so you can see everybody's screen if you want to see
Yeah, that's what
yourself.
I was
Yeah.
doing. But I'm speaker. Oh my gosh, you guys. Gina, can you come and help me? I'm hitting the button.
As with all things in the past 2 years.
I'll unmute me.
Webinars are pretty new for us. Sorry, folks. We'll be.
Please talk.
I'm gonna mute this. Yeah.
One of your screens is still muted. I'm really sorry.
You were muted.
Oh.
I said I don't teach technology. Neither does Gina. I'm Carrie Ben. I teach foods, facts on the go. Our foods is 12 weeks. We learn to cook, bake, main dishes, appetizers, quick breads. We really start at the beginning with our measuring, going through different terms, equipment, kind of just getting into the kitchens and, exploring from, day one. And then they do projects, we do competitions, we explore, with everything on the Food Network now. So it's really a fun, cool class, and who doesn't love to eat? And then we also have Facts on the Go, which is 6 weeks in the food room and 6 weeks in the sewing room. Those are quick and easy on the go, like 30 minutes or less recipes. Kids have busy schedules, so it's more, get in the kitchen and let's do this in 30 minutes or less and be done, packed up and out the door, where the foods are more in depth. We also have 6 weeks in the sewing room. And those are sewing projects where we make, last trimester, we made an apron. We brought it into the foods room and the kids wear it in class. We have a drawstring backpack. So those were a few of the projects we made in Facts on the Go. So it's 6 weeks sewing and 6 weeks foods. And I will pass it over to instrumental music.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ilona Hutter. I am one of the instrumental music teachers here at Lincoln Middle School. In our band program, we have 3 ability-based groups at Lincoln. We have cadet band, which is mainly 6th graders, concert band, a few 6th graders, mainly 7th graders, as well as symphonic band, which is mainly 8th graders. It is a year-long commitment. And ensembles meet usually twice a week before school. And then during the school day, we meet for small lesson groups that occur once again during the school day, but they are on a rotating basis. That way students don't miss the same class more than once a trimester. And then Mrs. Zimniak, I'm gonna hand it over to her to talk a little bit about 2 optional groups that we have in addition to our 3 ability-based groups.
Hi, I'm Jamie Zimniak, and I teach concert band and percussion ensemble, as well as beginning band here at Lincoln. Percussion ensemble and jazz band are both extracurricular ensembles that we have here. In order to participate in them, you do need to be a part of one of the curricular groups, either cadet concert or symphonic band. Most students do start playing band instruments when they're in 5th grade. However, if you have a student who is interested in joining band, we are always welcome to start beginners here at Lincoln. We have about 8 beginners who started this year, and they're doing a great job. I'm going to pass on the torch to Mr. Hellerman.
Hi, everyone. I'm Max Hellerman. I teach the Philharmonic and Chamber Orchestras here at Lincoln. I also teach at Washington and Roosevelt. Orchestra is the string instruments, violin, viola, cello, and bass. And most of you who are in the program already know about it because we start students in the 4th grade. We also welcome beginners. These Lincoln groups are ability-based, and we have Philharmonic Orchestra, which is mostly 7th and 8th graders, and Chamber Orchestra is made up of the top students from that group who meet during the school day on Tuesdays. We rehearse all these groups before school, and I'll just speak on behalf of Mrs. Ballinger, who's unable to attend tonight. She teaches the concert orchestra here at Lincoln. And yeah, if you have a student who's interested in joining the program, we don't want them to be deterred just because they didn't start in the 4th or 5th grade. We welcome anybody at this point as well. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. Thank you. And we're technology.
Yep, thank you. So my name is Mike Taglia. I'm the technology elective teacher here at Lincoln. And I actually teach in a place called the Den, which is in the basement, not on the 3rd floor of Lincoln. And it's really consists of, I put up some pictures here, 4 areas: the innovation lab, the lounge, the lair, and the studio. And it's really all about being able to brainstorm, being able to tell stories. And these are places where you could easily do that. And there's 3 classes that I teach. Well, there's 4 classes. One is Tech 6th. All 6th grade kids take that class. It's an introduction into technology, but that's for 6th grade. The 7th and 8th grade classes, one of the classes is broadcasting, and that's an LA required elective. It sounds like an oxymoron, and it kind of is. The district wanted us to provide more minutes in the language arts programs, so they added 3 classes: Speak Up, a speaking class, So the Story Goes, a storytelling class, and then broadcasting, which is the class I teach. So students will take one of those 3 classes in 7th grade, and one of the 2 classes that they didn't take in 7th grade, they'll take in 8th grade. So they'll take 2 out of those 3 elective classes. And again, the one I teach is broadcasting. That's where they're down here in the Den. It's really about reading, writing, speaking, researching, kind of learning about the world around them. After a 3-week introduction in how to research and how to edit and how to tell a story, we break up into 3 different cycles. And they get to choose their own groups. And one of the cycles, they have to do something called the WLMS 10, where they produce 2 news stories, whether they're local, national, world news stories, have to do research. And then those stories are shown in social studies classes. They also have to do investigative reports in a different cycle. Those 2 things are required, where they go out and they kind of try to make sense of things around Park Ridge or at Lincoln. We've had some great stories this year that have been investigatory. We had Friday Night Lights at Maine South. We had a story of the history of the Pickwick. We're working on a story of the day in the life of a police officer. We have a commander coming over with a squad car. We're going to do interviewings with him. And a lot of times we go on site and do these things. So it's pretty neat. And then the last cycle, they get a choice to either do a Friday broadcast, which is a live broadcast on Friday mornings, where they get to choose a theme for that Friday. They get to produce a story for that theme. This Friday, the theme is Valentine's Day. So they did a little history of Valentine's Day story for it, or they do the production on it. I'm in the studio here, so they get to learn the equipment here in the studio. And that's pretty much broadcasting. Multimedia Magic is a filmmaking class where they get to tell visual stories through brainstorming, storyboarding, script writing, acting, editing. And there's really 2 big units that we do: a silent film unit and a feature film unit. And I taught language arts for 25 years. This is the first year in my role of doing this as a technology elective. Couldn't be happier. And I've kind of honed these skills over the last 25 years with units I did in language arts. So it's really nice to be able to spend more time on this and really develop them even more. So I'm excited about Multimedia Magic. And the last class is Crack the Code. To be honest, the first time I'm teaching is 3rd trimester. I'm still wrapping my head around. I've been meeting with my counterpart at Emerson, but it's a coding class. It's a class where you explore coding languages, and you get to design computer programs. And haven't done it yet. Seems great. Looking forward to doing it 3rd trimester. And I'm not sure if we have any questions, but I think that wraps up our presentations.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Families, thank you so much for tuning in. Just as a reminder, the majority of electives that we've heard about this evening are on the trimester, and they can be taken in 7th or in 8th grade. The 7th grade electives, primarily like for art, that's a required class that stays Art 7, but the majority of these they take once in their time at Lincoln, and they are 12 weeks long. If you have any questions, the Q&A is open.
I jump in real quick since
Of
we have a
course.
few minutes. I just want to point out to everybody here that after a year and a half of some pretty difficult skating for parents and students and for us as well, frankly, we're all really thrilled to be back in our areas. As you can see from parents from these presentations that the students have really great options. You can't go wrong. All of our areas offer unique and special opportunities for the kids to grow and be creative and learn special techniques in different areas that we offer. And unfortunately, tonight was remote. We had hoped that we would be able to do this in person, and you would get to really have access to our areas and see how unique and excellent they all are. And hopefully there will be another opportunity in the near future for you guys to come in and check everything out. But with everything back and we're up and running, it's been a really excellent year up until this point. So I just wanted to add that. Thanks for coming.
Yes, and thank you all again for your support, your continued support for our elective program. We're really working hard to ensure that your students are getting a well-rounded education. Again, if you have any questions, we have about 2 minutes. Feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A. We're here to support you as families as well as our students. So any other questions, please let us know. Thank you so much.